Hello guys! So, today we have here the text, The Grand Canyon, Great Wonder of Nature, ok? E daí aqui tá o texto. Hoje eu vou colocar para vocês o áudio, tá? Que é o track 20, para vocês irem acompanhando. Daí vai ficar tudo pretinho aí, daí vocês vão lendo com o dedinho, tá bom? Para fazer a interpretação de texto, que é a que a gente sempre faz, que está nessa página aqui, na página 54, tá? Na página 54. Daí agora eu vou colocar o áudio, peraí.
Track 20.
The Grand Canyon, Great Wonder of Nature. We can only imagine the thoughts of the first people to see the Grand Canyon. Perhaps they walked for days or weeks across the flat desert. Then, without warning, the ground seemed to disappear in front of them. An enormous gap stretched many miles across. The emptiness was broken only by jagged towers of red rock. Looking down, they saw a terrifying drop of 6,000 feet. The Colorado River at the bottom was a silver thread. In 1903, President Theodore Roosevelt gazed across the canyon. He declared, "The Grand Canyon fills me with awe. It is beyond comparison, beyond description, absolutely unparalleled throughout the wide world." President Roosevelt helped pass laws creating Grand Canyon National Park. Today, people come from around the world to see the Grand Canyon. It is one of the 7 natural wonders of the world. The Grand Canyon, which cuts through the Colorado Plateau, is named for its vast size. The canyon stretches for 277 miles. It is about a mile deep and about 10 miles wide in most places. At its widest point, the canyon is 15 miles across. The canyon is more than just a spectacular sight. It is a unique place for scientists to study the history of the Earth. The beautiful bands of color in the canyon are layers of rock. The layers built up as the Colorado Plateau formed. Later, the Colorado River passed over the plateau. The water wore away bits of rock. This process is called erosion. Erosion from wind also helped shape the Grand Canyon. It took millions of years for erosion to carve the deep canyon. Geologists come to the Grand Canyon to study its layers of rock. They look for clues that tell them what Earth was like long ago. For a geologist, a hike down into the Grand Canyon is like traveling backward in time. The trip begins at the canyon rim. The tan top layer of rock is the newest layer. It is called the Kaibab limestone. Each step down into the canyon takes the geologist further back in time. Lower down, the geologist encounters the canyon's famous red cliffs. This layer is made of redwall limestone. It formed around 350 million years ago. Back then, the Colorado Plateau was the floor of a sea. The redwall limestone contains fossils of ancient sea creatures. At the very bottom of the canyon, the geologist stands beside black slabs of rock. These rocks are called Vishnu schist. They are about 2 billion years old. They are some of the oldest exposed rocks on Earth. Geologists believe that the Vishnu schist once formed the base of enormous mountains. The Grand Canyon is also a special place for studying life on Earth today. Different parts of the canyon have different climates. Some areas of the canyon are hot and dry. Others are cool and wet. These differences cause an amazing variety of habitats. A hike from the floor of the Grand Canyon to its northern rim can seem like a journey from the deserts of Mexico to the forests of Canada. During the summer, the sun heats the inner canyon. It feels like a furnace. Temperatures here reach over 115 degrees Fahrenheit. Most of the inner canyon is desert. Tough scrub bushes, such as sagebrush, dot the soil. Several types of cactus grow here as well. These plants store water in their thick stems. Desert animals, such as rattlesnakes and scorpions, escape the daytime heat by hiding in shadows and holes. On the canyon floor, a river habitat cuts through the desert. 17 species of fish swim in this part of Colorado River. Beavers and skunks scurry along the banks. People camping along the river often see ringtails. These small mammals are relatives of the raccoon. They visit campsites at night looking for scraps of food. In some spots, water springs from the dry canyon walls. It comes down from the plateau above. It seeps through cracks in the rock. Hanging gardens of delicate green plants like ferns grow around the cool, fresh water. Higher up in the canyon, the desert cools slightly. On the southern side, this desert extends all the way to the south rim. Scattered pines, sagebrush, and grasses cover the dry landscape. Mule deer and bighorn sheep graze among the rocks. Bobcats and coyotes prowl nearby. The canyon's north rim stands much higher than the south rim. Its climate is much colder and wetter. In winter, snow blocks the roads and closes the campgrounds. Forests of ponderosa pines and blue spruce cover the ground with soft needles. Mountain lions hunt in the woods. Squirrels chatter in the treetops. This forest is the only home of the kaibab squirrel. Kaibab squirrels are known for their unusual coloring. They have a black belly and a white tail. People have also made their homes in the Grand Canyon. Hunting and gathering tribes first occupied the region 12,000 years ago. Around 1,000 years ago, the Anasazi lived in the Grand Canyon. The Anasazi hunted deer, bighorn sheep, and other canyon animals. They also farmed. They grew corn and beans. They carved granaries high in the Grand Canyon cliffs. Granaries are storage rooms for grains. The square doorways of the granaries can still be seen in a canyon wall. They sit almost 1,000 feet above the river. The Havasupai and the Hualupai still live in the southern section of the Grand Canyon. Much of the south rim lies within Hualupai lands. The Hualupai and Havasupai control tourism in their portions of the canyon. The rest of the Grand Canyon is a U.S. national park. Today, most of the people in
Acabou a bateria do meu celular, gente. Acabou a memória, quer dizer. Eu vou voltar pouquinho.
much of the south rim lies within Hualupai lands. The Hualupai and Havasupai control tourism in their portions of the canyon. The rest of the Grand Canyon is a U.S. national park. Today, most of the people in the Grand Canyon are tourists. Almost 5 million tourists visit the canyon every year. Most come only to see the view from the canyon rim. But nearly 1 million visitors brave the wilderness of the inner canyon. Some venture down the Colorado River in boats. Others hike into the canyon. Some people ride mules along steep paths. Tens of thousands of people take helicopter tours to view the canyon from the air. All this tourism takes its toll on the Grand Canyon. Campers and visitors pollute the land and water with their trash and waste. Car and bus exhaust dirties the air. The noise from motorized boats and helicopters echoes from the canyon walls. Human activities outside the park also affect the Grand Canyon. Several huge coal-burning power plants operate nearby. Sometimes they make the sky over the Grand Canyon smoggy. A dam built in 1963 has had an even greater impact. The Glen Canyon Dam changed the way the Colorado River flows through the Grand Canyon. The entire river habitat was affected by the change.
So, guys, ali faltou só um pouquinho para terminar a leitura, né? Mas o que precisava aqui já tinha passado no áudio. Quem preferia ouvir só o áudio e fazendo o exercício já, eu achei até melhor, tá? Aqui, ó. Vamos fazer a correção então, tá? Quem não fez ainda, por favor, pausar o vídeo para fazer. A number 1 é a letra C, number 2, letra B, number 3, letra A, number 4, letra D, number 5, letra C, tá? E aqui é what has been done to improve the state of the Grand Canyon, daí tem que ali no texto, né? O que foi feito para a melhoria do estado do Grand Canyon. E a B, você concorda com o que o President Roosevelt falou, né? Com as palavras dele? Então, essas respostas, elas estão aqui no final do textinho. É bem facinho, tá? Tá até aqui, eu acho. President Roosevelt, ali, ó. President Roosevelt, he said. Daí o que ele falou, se você concorda ou não. Por hoje é isso. Bom final de semana, tá, pessoal?